Good morning, my dear students. Today we are learning two cell organelles usually present in almost all eukaryotic cell. One is mitochondria and second one is plastid. So let us first we will go for study this mitochondria. So one thing the student has to be remember that almost all biological terms are coming from Greek or Latin word which have their purposeful meaning, either Greek or Latin. So in that, mitos and chondrion. Mitos is nothing but thread-like. Chondrion, bodies. So the thread-like body is called as a mitochondria. And these mitochondria are present in almost all the cells except again RBC of a human being and kingdom monerans. Whereas its size is 0.2 to 1 micrometer in diameter, its diameter, whereas 1 to 4 micrometer in length, that is its size. Whereas mitochondria is double membrane bound cell organelle. Two membranes are present. So one is outer membrane and another one is inner membrane. So outer membrane of mitochondria is uniform, continuous one, where there is no any breaks. Whereas inner membrane is discontinuous, it has its breaks, it is inner folding. And here again it continues and it goes into the inner foldings. Again it continues inner fold. Inner fold of inner mitochondrial membrane forming a finger like a projection, that is called as a cristae. The cristae are going to be formed. Whereas in between outer membrane and inner membrane there is a space, that space is called as inner mitochondrial space, also called as inner membrane space. And inside this inner membrane there is a presence of cytoplasm like a material, that is called as matrix. And this cytoplasmic fluid like a matrix consists of cell organelle called as a ribosomes, which is of 70S, not 80S. Inside the mitochondria, ribosomes are present and they are of a 70S type. Right? Whereas the small piece of DNA is also present in the mitochondria. And on the inner fold of membrane of inner membrane of mitochondria, called as the cristae, on that cristae, lollipop-like structures are present, and they are called as Raker's particle. They are called as Raker's particle. And this Raker particle, you have to be go for enlarge it here. It is going to be consisting of a head like this, yes, and it is having a stalk, and it will have a base. So this is base, and this is stalk, and this is head, where the Krebs cycle is going to be taking place inside this. Krebs cycle is taking place inside this. So that is why mitochondria is the most important cell organelle for respiration. That is why we consider it as a site for aerobic respiration. So let me to tell you once again, my dear students, you are learning one of the cell organelle. The name of the cell organelle is mitochondria. The meaning of the mitochondria is thread-like body or thread-like structure. Mitos, thread-chondrian body. Thread-like body is present. And its size is 0.2 to 1 micrometer in diameter. Its diameter. Whereas its length from here to here, the length is 1 to 4 micrometer in length. That is its size. Whereas the numbers are varies. Number may be 10 to 40 number. It depends on the site. Say for example, muscles and the thigh muscles and hand muscles will have a more number of mitochondria because they are working, running, walking. It doesn't mean that rest of the mitochondria doesn't. Say for example, brain cells have also more mitochondria because they has to be generated more amount of energy. So number of mitochondria is varies from cell to cell. Whereas it is a structure, when you go for study of its structure, the structure of mitochondria is discoidal shape or elliptical shape or lens shaped structure, and it is made up of with the two membrane. One is outer membrane and another one is inner membrane. Outer membrane is a continuous one and it is a permeable membrane. Everything it allows in. Whereas the inner membrane is discontinuous one. It is not continuous, discontinuous. It is having inner infoldings forming into a finger-like projections called as a cristae. Whereas in between outer membrane and inner membrane there is a space, and that space is called as inner mitochondrial space. At the inner side of the inner membrane, there is a fluid-like material that is called as matrix. And this matrix contains large number of enzymes responsible for breaking down carbohydrate, protein, fat to produce energy in the form of ATP by using oxygen, that is called as aerobic respiration. So site of aerobic respiration is mitochondria. One more question for your final examination. Site for aerobic respiration. Who is the site for the aerobic respiration here? Mitochondria is the site for aerobic respiration. What do you mean by aerobic respiration? The respiration which is utilizing oxygen for its survival. You will learn in your future class that one molecule of glucose, to break one molecule of glucose, it will demand oxygen. That is why the mitochondria is called as a site of respiration. Which type of a site? Aerobic respiration, because it is using oxygen. And inner matrix of that containing a large number of enzymes where glycolysis will take place. What will take place? Glycolysis. Glycolysis will take place in the matrix, glycolysis will take place in the cytoplasm, and that pyruvic acid will take entry here. That you will learn in our plant physiology later on. So inside this matrix, a large number of enzymes will be there, and that is breaking down its enzymatic action and enters into this Ratter's particle like a knob-like structure, head, stalk, and base. So this is the entire structure of mitochondria. And apart from this, the important function is, the first important function, mitochondria are the site for aerobic respiration. Second one is that they are the powerhouse of the cell because they produce the energy. The energy produced is in the form of ATP, adenosine triphosphate, that is for mitochondria, right? Whereas the second cell organelle called as plastids. So these plastids are present mainly in all plant cell, except the rest of other kingdom. They are present usually only in kingdom Plantae, kingdom Animalia absent, kingdom Monera absent, kingdom Mycota absent, kingdom Fungi. One class is containing. The name of the class is euglenoid. Euglena contain a plastid. That is why it is a self-synthesizing. Only kingdom Protista of the class euglenoid. Neat level questions this is. So let me to tell you about plastid. So plastids are double membrane bound cell organelle. They are present in plant cell as well as a certain euglenoid class, and its numbers are varies from 10 to 20, 10 number to 20 number in the usual cells, whereas about 20 to 40 number of plastids are present in mesophyll cell of leaf. Mesophyll cell. Mesophyll region contains the polycid parenchyma and spongy parenchyma, and those are main important source for production of food material in the form of protein, carbohydrate and fats. That is about the plastid. Let me tell you once again. Plastids are a double membrane bound cell organelle, and they are present in a plant cell as well as in a certain euglenoids. And this plastid structure is also made up of the two membrane, outer membrane and inner membrane. The outer membrane as well as the inner membrane is continuous one here, and in between the two membrane there is a space, and that space is called as a periplastidal space. This space is called as a periplastidal space. This is said to be as a periplastidal space. Inner to the plastid there is a cytoplasm of fluid-like structure that is called as a stroma, where light reaction will take place. In the stroma, light reaction will take place. And inner to this stroma, there presents a coin-like structure. I hope you have been ate the gems. The gems are the Cadbury's gems. James alla gems. ಅವುಗಳು ಇರ್ತಾವಲ್ಲ convex shaped ಆ ತರ ಇರ್ತವೆ. That is each one is said to be as thylakoid. And these thylakoid are arranged one on the other, one above the other, like a stack. S-T-A-C-K, stack, heap, coin like a heap. And that structure is called as the grana. What each one is? Thylakoid. What is this? Grana. What each one is? Thylakoid. What this each complete structure is? Grana. What each one is? Thylakoid. The entire structure heap of that is grana. Right? Where inside this grana, the reactions were going to be taking place, like a schematic representation you are going to be learning in your future classes. And each grana is connected by the help of a flat structure that is called as fret lamellae. That is called as fret lamellae. And inside that there is a piece of DNA also present. There are the presence of ribosomes, and these ribosomes are also 70S type. And their presence of matrix which containing a number of enzymes responsible for light reaction as well as dark reactions. So let me tell you once again, we are learning about the plastid. Plastids are present in plant cell and certain euglenoids. And plastid made up of the two membrane, outer membrane and the inner membrane. In between the two membranes there is a space that is called as a periplastidal space, and inner to that there is a fluid-like material that is called as a stroma, and this stroma is the site for light reaction, where photosynthesis will take place in two forms, light reaction and dark reaction. That you will learn in detail in your future classes. Right? So that stroma mainly containing the different parts, and that one among that is a coin-like structure or gem-like structure called as a thylakoid. Such 8 to 10 thylakoid is going to be forming a grana, and each grana is going to be connected by the help of a flat-like structure called as a fret lamellae. And there is a piece of DNA is present, and there are the ribosomes, and the ribosomes are of 70S. Right? Here, two important things to be remembered for one more question. Name the cell organelles which containing ribosomes is a question. Not these two only. Mitochondria, plastid, nucleus cells. It comes in your future days now. Tomorrow you are going to be learning about a nucleus later on. So these are the three cell organelles which containing ribosomes. One. Second, name the cell organelle which containing an extra DNA. That is again mitochondria as well as plastid. Nucleus contains obviously the chromosomes. So that is important. Whereas the plastids are of three different types on the basis of the pigment present in them. Plastids are classified into three different types based on the presence of pigment in them. If the plastid contain chlorophyll pigment, and those plastids are called as chloroplast. Those plastids are called as chloroplast when that contain chlorophyll pigment along with carotenoids. It may be chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, chlorophyll C, like that. Chlorophyll A and B are most important. That is second. Whereas second one is chromoplast. Chroma means color. Like different colored flowers will be available. Different colored flowers and different colored leaves. Like a yellow colored leaf, brown colored leaf, red colored leaf are available. Banana yellow in color, mango green in color, later on yellow, sometimes red in color, orange, you know very well, orange in color. Why these different colors? Because of the presence and absence of different colors. So chromoplast, and this is mainly containing a carotenoid, specifically called as carotene, which is responsible for xanthophyll pigment, which is helpful for brown color. So brown colored pigment, golden brown, hue brown, that is second one. First, third one is leucoplast, colorless pigment. It do not have any colors. It do not have any colors, like you know very well, some of the jasmine flower is there, it is colorless, and that is also the cell, plant cell, and that also contains the plastid. Which plastid? Leucoplast. Right? Colorless one. Potato is there. When you cut the potato, open, and inside that, colorless, white in color. What kind of a plastid is present? Leucoplast. Right? So let me to tell you that plastids are of three different types. One is chloroplast, which contain chlorophyll pigment along with the carotenoid. Second, chromoplast, and these are containing different pigments like xanthophyll, pheophycin, phycoerythrin, like such. Phycoerythrin, phycocyanin, pheophycin, along with xanthophyll, like that. Whereas leucoplast, which do not contain any chlorophyll pigments, it is colorless one. Whereas these leucoplasts are of three different types on the basis of the storage of food material. If the storage of food material is in the form of a carbohydrate, if it stores carbohydrate like a rice, potato, they are storing the food material in the form of carbohydrate. So they are called as amyloplast. Means what we are eating rice is amyloplast. What we are eating the potato or potato chips, that contains amyloplast. Whereas second one, the fat containing one. If like a groundnut, that contains the more fat, oil iruttalla, that is elaioplast. Last, thirdly, protein containing one, aleuroplast. Aleuroplast, like grains, togri valley, kadli valley, they are containing the grams, they containing the protein storage food material in it, called as aleuroplast. So I hope you have been understand these two important cell organelles. We will go for study to get to the next. Thank you and all.